From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Tuesday, July 7th. It's going to be a really nice day ahead. Nothing crazy, maybe a few clouds out there. Otherwise, seasonably warm. Highs will be in the mid-80s, lows tonight in the 60s.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app, bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports, all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
Every day as a small business owner feels like solving a puzzle. One moment you're cruising along, and the next, there's a shipping snag that has you scrambling. But here's a surprise you will like. With Progressive, small business owners save 13% on their commercial auto insurance when they pay in full. So go ahead, surprise yourself. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
You might have to start paying more taxes on your car if you live in Indianapolis to help pay for road repairs. The City County Council voted 14-10 last night to approve an increase in the vehicle registration taxes. The wheel tax plan would raise car owners' registration fees from around $7.50 to $100, a flat rate. People with trucks that weigh more than 11,000 pounds would pay $240. That's up from the minimum of $10. City County councilors say the goal is to raise $50 million, which would qualify the city for another $50 million in state funding. The proposal will now go to Mayor Joe Hogsett for signature. However, he has publicly disagreed with the proposal, and he could veto it. If Hogsett signs the measure, the new ordinance would go into effect on January 1st of 2027. The City County Council president released a statement on the approval of the wheel tax, saying in part, Indianapolis has struggled with decades of underinvestment in our roads. The wheel tax helps change that by creating a more sustainable funding strategy while positioning our city to leverage additional state transportation dollars. This is about fixing roads, improving public safety, strengthening neighborhoods, and building the infrastructure our growing city needs to thrive. The City County Council also introduced a new proposal focused on data centers and sent it to a committee. The plan would increase the distance between a data center and a protected district, like a school. It would also require a water management plan, require a noise study and mitigation plan, and annual reporting on water use, power consumption, and noise compliance. The proposal would only account for data centers that have not already been zoned. The proposal will now go to the Council's Metropolitan and Economic Development Committee for discussion. Council failed to approve a proposal that would have added 17-year-olds to the city's public safety curfew. That means 17-year-olds must still follow the state's curfew laws that require them to be out of public spaces by 1 in the morning. Switching gears now to soccer, the U.S. men's soccer team's World Cup run is over. The team lost to Belgium last night. The U.S. was at full strength for the match after FIFA overturned the suspension of striker Flo Balogun after President Donald Trump called FIFA's president. Despite that, the U.S. could not keep up with the Belgium team, losing 4-1. The only American goal in the match came off a free kick from Malik Tillman in the 31st minute. The U.S. has not been to the quarterfinal round of the World Cup since 2002. News 8 was at the round of 16 watch party on Monument Circle after the game was over. One Belgium native said that this was his first time watching his national team play since moving here to Indiana, and he was celebrating the big win.
Well, we got a really early goal, but then the U.S. came back real fast, so it got really exciting at some point. But then, the second, the third, and then eventually it was a bloodbath, yeah. But
after yesterday's win, Belgium will take on Spain in the World Cup quarterfinals. That match is on Friday at 3 p.m. Major changes could be coming to how Indiana's child care centers are regulated. Indiana's Family and Social Services Administration says the proposed changes will increase access and affordability, but not everyone agrees. News 8's Justin Razavi explains.
The proposed changes to Indiana's child care regulations aim to solve workforce challenges in the state, But opponents say they're concerned that increasing access to jobs might unintentionally weaken the quality of Indiana's childcare.
We think they're getting a lot right, but we also think that they're lowering some standards in some cases, and we're really concerned about that.
State officials have recently released a long list of proposed changes to the regulations that impact Indiana's licensed childcare centers, saying the new rules are designed to reduce administrative burdens, lower costs, provide greater flexibility, and maintain high standards for child safety. At a public hearing Monday at the Indiana Government Center, people gave their feedback to the proposals, a common objection being the relaxed educational requirements. Under the new rules, center directors would no longer be required to hold a bachelor's degree, and caregivers would not be required to have a high school diploma.
Which would make Indiana the lowest standard in the surrounding states. Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois all have higher standards than us, and that would be the message we are sending to the Midwest region, that Indiana has lower standards than everyone else. There's no high school test that says, oh, people didn't pass it, so let's lower the test. Nobody does that. So what we can do is invest in the workforce.
There will be a second public hearing on this matter. A date for that has not yet been scheduled. I'm Justin Razavi for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
Police say no foul play was involved after a toddler was found dead in a retention pond in Lawrence. It happened at the Life at Harrison Trails apartment complex on McIntosh Lane yesterday. Police say the 19-month-old was initially reported missing at around noon. Then officers pulled the child from the water and tried to save them. The toddler later died at the hospital. A Carmel man is facing charges for promoting child sex trafficking and other child sex crimes after investigators found inappropriate messages on Snapchat. Police say they got a tip about 44-year-old James Lee Barley Jr. from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The agency had the messages that he sent on Snapchat. Investigators say he messaged children online, and one child said his questions seemed inappropriate. Snapchat even disabled his account. Barley is now charged with 2 mid-level felonies and faces 4 lower-level ones as well. New preliminary numbers from IMPD show violent crime continues to trend down here in Indianapolis. So far this year, the city has recorded 53 homicides. That's down 20% compared to this time last year. Non-deadly shootings are also down 33%, with 139 reported so far this year. Overall, police say violent crime is down 29%, while property crime has dropped 13.5%.
The approach that we've been taking with our gun violence reduction strategy and being very intentional about proactively trying to make contact and prevent the next shooting is paying off. Our officers, our teams throughout the agency, our partners have all been working very closely together to try to continue to drive those numbers down.
That was Chief Tanya Terry. She says that they will continue focusing on proactive policing and community partnerships as they work to keep those numbers moving in the right direction. More sports now. McLaren has a new driver lineup for the 2027 IndyCar season. 6-time IndyCar champion and 2008 Indy 500 winner Scott Dixon. He's going to join the team along with this year's Indy 500 champ Felix Rosenqvist. They join Pato O'Ward, fan favorite, as full-time McLaren drivers. Dixon has been with Chip Ganassi Racing since 2003, so this is a big change. Rosenqvist is currently on his 3rd season with Meyer-Shank Racing. Used to be with McLaren, so he's going back to his old team. This also means that current McLaren drivers Christian Lundgaard and Nolan Siegel will leave the team. McLaren team principal Tony Kanaan had this to say on the changes.
Obviously, having a legend in the team and the reigning Indy 500 champion, that I shouldn't be more proud of them to choose the team. Obviously, a hard decision on Christian and Nolan not to renew their contracts. I think Christian is in a very good spot to actually land somewhere that is probably going to give us a lot of a heat next year, but looking to the future, I think it's the direction of the team is what we need.
Team also announced that Ryan Hunter-Reay will drive the team's 4th car in next year's Indy 500. Prominent supporters of Maine Democratic Senate candidate Graham Plattner are pulling their support after an allegation of rape was made against him. The accuser says Plattner showed up to her home in 2021 and forced her to have sex despite being told to stop. Plattner denies the allegation, but has canceled several town halls on his campaign trail. Leading Senate Democrats have called on Plattner to drop out of the race, saying that they won't spend any more money on his campaign. Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell has now been in the hospital for more than 3 weeks, although few details have been released as to why. There's also no word on whether he'll be back at the Capitol next week when the Senate returns to Washington, D.C. McConnell was admitted to the hospital back on June 14th. The last update from his staff was Thursday, saying that he continues to improve. There has been no update since then, though. His office has not said why the senator was hospitalized. Hamas says it will be dissolving its government in compliance to the Gaza ceasefire agreement. The move is meant to pressure Israel to move forward with its own commitments under the truce, including an end to any attacks in Gaza. After the Hamas-controlled government is dissolved, a U.S.-backed group of Palestinian technocrats are expected to take charge. The Hamas statement made no mention, though, of disarmament, which is another key demand in the ceasefire. Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk, will be in court again today for his 5-day preliminary hearing. This week, the judge will determine if there's enough evidence to send Robinson to trial. Yesterday, the prosecution started with the first of their evidence by questioning a former police officer who described the shooting. Robinson's defense team says it plans to call 3 forensic experts to testify in the next few days. If the judge allows the case to proceed, Robinson will then have a hearing and a chance to enter pleas. Good news now. A recent graduate from Fishers High School is headed to college with her diploma and some bragging rights. Megan Semeski has never missed a day of school since kindergarten. So I wanted to know how she did it and why. Here's her story. 18-year-old Megan Semeski has walked into Fishers High School more times than she can count. From orchestra, French club, baking club, NHS, and yearbook, she knows her way around.
So yeah, I was in school a lot. A cafe.
She's used to being behind the camera, capturing moments of other students' accomplishments at school.
No, wait, I did. I found mine.
But now,
There you are. Yeah. Maegan.
you found it.
Yay!
Her name is getting some recognition for her ability to show up.
I've never missed a day of school, kindergarten through 12th grade, all of my K through 12 career.
Perfect attendance at Hamilton Southeastern schools every day since she was 5 years old.
And it's like that shock factor, which is really funny. And everybody's like, what? You've never missed school? And I'm like, yeah. Like kind of shocking, but also not really. Because again, I've been working at this for so long where it's like, oh yeah, like perfect attendance, that's just like who I am. But it's still just like, oh my God, I actually made it all 13 years and haven't missed a day of school. It's just like
a mind-blowing mission that she set for herself way back then.
I did it for myself, not for the district.
It started as a competition with a friend, then turned into her own mission. Of course, there were obstacles.
So did you ever get sick?
Yeah, but it was usually like on a Friday or like right before a break.
And there was the pandemic.
6th grade is when the shutdown happened.
She still showed up on Zoom.
I was just like, I think I'm here. I don't know if I am, but...
Tried to be.
Yeah, I tried really hard.
But perhaps one of her biggest motivations to keep showing up was the consistency of it all. You see, when Megan was little, her mom got sick.
And my mom passed going into 2nd grade, so when I was 7.
It happened during the summer, but Megan refused to miss a day.
So I think even if it did happen in the school year, I still kind of would have been fine going to school because, one, it gave me something to focus on.
Her dad says she wouldn't even consider going to Disney World unless it was during a school break. Then, fast forward to senior year. And at the final Roar celebration, the principal told everyone her accomplishment.
I'm just like, oh, I didn't know we were calling this out now.
Megan is humble about the whole thing.
It's a lot of luck and more luck and a little bit of determination. Again, mainly luck.
But she does hope kids take away one thing from her story.
I think the importance of showing up, because whether it be for my classes, for my own personal thing, also just for friends and like extracurriculars, is just, it taught me that like showing up is important.
Now Megan is headed to college at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay to study chemistry and biochemistry. She is not sure that the perfect attendance streak will keep going then. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Why does Progressive work hard for truckers? Because truckers unite the world. They unite kids with their first drum sets and parents with earplugs. But truckers can't do this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive has over 360 heavy truck employees to help truckers stay on time and on track. Quote truck insurance today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Tuesday, July 7th. It's going to be a really nice day ahead. Nothing crazy, maybe a few clouds out there. Otherwise, seasonably warm. Highs will be in the mid-80s, lows tonight in the 60s. You might have to start paying more taxes on your car if you live in Indianapolis to help pay for road repairs. The City County Council voted 14-10 last night to approve an increase in the vehicle registration taxes. The wheel tax plan would raise car owners' registration fees from around $7.50 to $100, a flat rate. People with trucks that weigh more than 11,000 pounds would pay $240. That's up from the minimum of $10. City County councilors say the goal is to raise $50 million, which would qualify the city for another $50 million in state funding. The proposal will now go to Mayor Joe Hogsett for signature. However, he has publicly disagreed with the proposal, and he could veto it. If Hogsett signs the measure, the new ordinance would go into effect on January 1st of 2027. The City County Council president released a statement on the approval of the wheel tax, saying in part, Indianapolis has struggled with decades of underinvestment in our roads. The wheel tax helps change that by creating a more sustainable funding strategy while positioning our city to leverage additional state transportation dollars. This is about fixing roads, improving public safety, strengthening neighborhoods, and building the infrastructure our growing city needs to thrive. The City County Council also introduced a new proposal focused on data centers and sent it to a committee. The plan would increase the distance between a data center and a protected district, like a school. It would also require a water management plan, require a noise study and mitigation plan, and annual reporting on water use, power consumption, and noise compliance. The proposal would only account for data centers that have not already been zoned. The proposal will now go to the council's Metropolitan and Economic Development Committee for discussion. Council failed to approve a proposal that would have added 17-year-olds to the city's public safety curfew. That means 17-year-olds must still follow the.
As a small business owner, sometimes it feels like no matter how much planning you do, there's always surprises, like an urgent, expensive repair. But here's a surprise you will like. With Progressive, small business owners save 13% on their commercial auto insurance when they pay in full. So enjoy a surprise for once. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Truckers aren't just moving goods. They're making sure bakers get their chocolate chips and hotels get their tiny soaps. But truckers can't do this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive has over 360 heavy truck employees to help truckers stay on time and on track. Quote truck insurance today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.